All right, so it's been a very long time. When you look at the way things are, Cristiano Ronaldo, one man who came from Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United, and from Manchester United, he went to Real Madrid. He conquered Spain, conquered Europe as well in Spain. They even did a three-peat with the likes of Luka Modric, Gareth Bale, Marcelo, and so on. And then he went to Juventus, according to him, for a challenge. He didn't get to win the Champions League there, but he won the league title there. And then he's back home right now to Manchester United. But the interesting thing is the very fact that Ronaldo coming back to Manchester United has put some of us that are not necessarily his fans, and then the ones that are also his fans, in a bit of a conundrum as far as the Fantasy Premier League is concerned. You're welcome to Strictly Sports with John Bino. And yes, my name is John Bino, the hard tackling and the super dynamic midfield maestro, a combination of Makelele and Javi, N'Golo Kante and Andre Pelu, where intensity and tenacity meet craftiness and gal. And very quickly, I've got my guy who will be with me, on this episode and also subsequent episodes of the podcast as we talk about Cristiano Ronaldo and also other things concerning the Fantasy Premier League. Akachukwu, you're welcome.
Hello, John. Going.
How can we say Ronaldo is in England, and I'm not, particularly excited about that because he plays for Manchester United. But what can
Do
we
you
do?
have your fantasy team?
I haven't gotten him yet. I think it's still the case of to buy or not to buy.
Okay, I understand. I just did a transfer earlier today and I got him in. So we'll see how it goes. The whole
All right,
frenzy about international break, everything has been about Cristiano Ronaldo. Every podcast, every sports show, every article, Cristiano Ronaldo, every tweet, Cristiano Ronaldo. And then it's crazy. I mean, a lot of the narrative I've been seeing on social media or from people around me is he's 37 years old. He's 36, 37 in a few months. But we are literally talking about the greatest goal scorer of all time. And then Fantasy Premier League is literally about goals and assists and product. So I don't know what do you opinion? It's literally a no-brainer. What do you think?
Yeah, I seem to play fantasy with a lot of sentiment. I remember back then I was finding it hard to have Salah in my team. Right now, I saw the light. Salah is my captain. I don't care whether Salah scores one goal or he scores 35 own goals. Salah remains my captain. Or if it's not Salah, then it's going to be Bruno Fernandes, because both players return, a high number of goals, and they are also responsible for the penalty kicks in their team. But right now, for Bruno, Ronaldo will be taking the penalty duties from him. So it's no longer going to be Fernandes. It'll be going back to being Bruno Fernandes. For Ronaldo, Penaldo, like some people call him, as long as he scores goals, nobody really cares whether it's a tap-in or a 40 or 30-yard screamer. Well, the expert here. Tell us what are some of the players that people are not really looking at, but you're thinking might just return something this week?
Well, for a start, you just mentioned Bruno Fernandes. It's actually shocking, but Bruno Fernandes doesn't suddenly become a bad because Ronaldo came to Manchester United, or Bruno Fernandes against Newcastle United isn't a bad option. But we've seen a lot of transfers into the hundreds of thousands. Bruno Fernandes is one of the most sold players for the past, and the most common transfer has seen people going from Bruno Fernandes, getting a lesser midfielder, a mid-price midfielder, Ronaldo or Lukaku up front. But then Bruno Fernandes has proved to us over the season he's been at Manchester United, he always delivers. And I saw an article today where he spoke about how he loved free kicks. He even loved free kicks more than penalties. So what's to say would be the primary set piece taker in? So against a Newcastle team that you could see United racking up 3 or 5 goals against, nobody would have ever thought he's not actually a differential in the real sense of the word, because he still has a large enough ownership. But considering the amount of people that have transferred him out this week, we could see him coming back to hurt a lot of people. Well, I actually made the transfer, but I made the transfer with a long-term outlook. He has blanked in 9 of 15 game weeks, 9 of the last 15 game weeks. So long-term, Ronaldo is definitely still a better option. If you could have the both of them, I would advise have both of them for this Newcastle game and then look to phase Bruno out. So that's one major asset that nobody thought a lot of people would be dumping at a time like this, but it's happening. Another asset I think a lot of people are sleeping on is Evan Toney. This is going to be unpopular opinion or point of view.
It's not unpopular. I have Evan Toney. He was in my team from day one.
He was in a lot of people's teams. He had an ownership of almost 30-something% after the first game week, but a lot of people have transferred him out. But I don't see the need to do that. Yeah, because he's 6.5. He's so cheap. I brought him in with a long 5 to 6 weeks. In fact, 6 weeks, I don't expect him 5 or 6 goals. But if he gives me 3 to 4 goals, that's a very good return for a 6.5 striker. He said he was in the Premier League and he knew people are going to doubt him. He has got 70 goals in 77 games in the last 2 seasons. And he said stepping up from the French league to the Championship, people doubted him, and then he scored 31 goals last season. And stepping up to the English Premier League, people are still doubting him, but he knows he's going to score a lot of goals. And the Brentford team are perfectly set up for him. If they score 2 goals, he will definitely return. So I think he's another sleeping on. Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Because I like the fact that you mentioned Evan Toney. You also mentioned Bruno Fernandes. I have Salah, I have Fernandes, I have Evan Toney in my team. Now that you've mentioned it, I think I need to go and check if any of my players are suspended because I think I haven't changed Reece James just yet. But that's by the way. Now, looking at those who, what do they call that? There's a term. I don't know if it's bank for the buck. Like for those who are cheap, you've mentioned Toney. Who are some of the other cheap people should be looking at? Some people were impatient with Emiliano Buendia and they sold him, because he did not return in the first 2 weeks. But he returned in the last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So when you talk about cheap options, well, Tsimikas is one. He started the season really well, but he lost his place to Robertson in the last game against Chelsea. He's just
understandable.
But there have been some reports that because he played a lot of games with Scotland national break. He played 3 games, so there are some reports that he might be rested. If he is, Tsimikas becomes a very good option. I wouldn't advise anybody to have Tsimikas without having it. That's one very, very budget option. Another budget option is Robert Sanchez in the Brighton defense. He's a very good option. Brighton have good enough fixtures, though their fixtures from around game week 7. But if you can get him now, he still has 2 or 3 good fixtures in him. Now for Wolves and Wolves, there are 4 teams: Wolves, Watford, Arsenal, and Leeds. Their fixtures difficult to extremely easy, and these 4 teams have very, very easy options. I'll start with Arsenal. Very, very cheap assets that you could get. I'll start with Arsenal. In their defense, I know a lot of people will be skeptical about going for Arsenal assets, but to be honest, last season Arsenal considered the 3rd least goals after only Chelsea and Manchester City considered less goals than us the whole season. So Arsenal are almost certainly going to have a solid defense, especially against the smaller teams. So their fixtures from their next game is Norwich at home. So people are talking about a pookie party. Norwich fixtures also get good from here, kind of. But
yeah,
I would back Arsenal to keep a clean sheet in this game. Ben White at 4.4 million is a very, very good option. He's going to play every game for Arsenal as long as he's fit. In the midfield, Saka, Odegaard, and Emil Smith-Rowe all go for less than 6.5 million. So they're all bargains. They're all budget options. They can be your 4th or 5th midfielders. For Watford, I think the major asset that stands out to me is Ismail Assar. He's a forward-thinking player. He's extremely direct, and their fixtures are really good. I actually brought him. My transfer this week was Bruno Fernandes and Callum Wilson for Ismail Assar and Cristiano. Assar at 6.0 is a very good budget option. That's the standout Watford player for me. For Wolves are... I don't even know what to say about Wolves. It's a very right now. They are extremely underperforming all the underlying stats.
Their XG is so high, so high, but their goals they have not conversion is poor.
Their expected goals to concede is so third or fourth, and they've conceded 3 goals. Like, nobody understands why stats are so good. So everything points to the fact that very soon they are going to blow up, and this is the perfect time. Their fixtures have turned. They have very, very good fixtures, 8 games, and they have good assets. But the thing is, do we trust these assets? Jimenez, we are yet to see him score a goal. He needs that goal, like his first goal after being back. Once he scores that goal, I think he's a very, very good option. So if you think you believe in him now, because he's definitely going to score in the next 1, 2, 3 games, he does, probably going to be an inflow. Adama Traore, he flatters to deceive a lot. You don't know. He gets so many chances. He takes so many shots. At 6.0, if you could take the risk, I think it might be worth it. There's also Trincao, but you have to be careful of because Prudence is back. Daniel Prudence is back, so there's a rotation risk of Trincao, Prudence. Also, I think where the best value lies for Wolves is in their defense. Their underlying stats are extremely good. They have very, very prized assets. There's Roman Saiz. Roman Saiz has potential for attacking and defensive returns. Conor Cody. So these are 2 very good assets from the Wolves defense. What was the third team? Leeds. Leeds also offers some budget options. Rafinha is a very, 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 very well priced or well valued asset at 6.5 million. He's almost always going to be in the goals or assists for Leeds. Although you should be careful with Rafinha because of the whole situation with the Brazilian players from taking part in the game week. But he's still a very good asset at 6.5. Assets. Ferran Torres at 7.1 million. He's a bargain considering he's playing for the best team, probably best team in the country. Striker. He has arguably the most creative players in Foden, Gundogan, Grealish, and Kevin Sterling.
Even Gabriel.
He has all these players creating for him. So in the last 2 weeks, he has given a lot of output, and it could still go on. So at 7.1, risk of Pep Roulette, but well, if it's something you could risk, just ensure you have a strong bench. Or I think Ferran Torres is a very, very bargain option. Yeah, that's it.
That's interesting. All right, before we wrap up, who are you giving your captain armband to?
To be honest, I haven't decided.
But what
my head says Salah, but my Ronaldo, because you could see Ronaldo scoring 2 or 3 goals against Newcastle. Newcastle are not a very good team. They don't have a good team, particularly solid. So you could literally see Ronaldo scoring 2 or 3, or Man United 5. So Ronaldo is actually a very good captain option, but I would want to stick to Salah. Salah scored a hat-trick against Leeds last season. He's a perfect fixture for Liverpool because Leeds attack. They play right into Liverpool's hands. Salah is penalty taker, so you could see Salah score. To go for safety, I would advise you go for Salah. I'm not going to, because I'm not 100% certain he's going to start,
Starts.
Yeah.
Yes, he could come off the bench.
Percent. But that 5% is enough of a doubt to keep the armband on Salah. Yeah, there are a lot of options, captaincy options this week, to be honest. There are a lot. He's the highest point scorer right now. 3 double figure scores. And he's playing against this not really good. Considered in their first 3 games. So they play they're exactly kind of thing West Ham like to play against. They press high, they like to hold the ball up high. West Ham are very good in a low ball counter-attack. West Ham scored the highest goals from counter-attacks last season. So this is a perfect fixture. So personally, I also think Antonio would be a very good captain. But I have this thing where I prefer to captain midfielders, strikers, because there's people classified as midfielders in the game because of the extra points they get for clean sheets and goals scored. So there's Antonio, there's the Harry Kane away to Crystal Palace. Harry Kane has scored, I think, 6 goals in the last 3 games against Palace. There's a Lukaku at home to Aston Villa. Tuchel confirmed early today he's fit, he's going to start. So these are extremely good captaincy options. You just have to pick your poison. Who are you going to captain?
It's Salah. Who is my captain? Salah. Who remains my captain for this game week? Salah. These things, we don't overthink it. Yeah, this is not captain. Let's let it be what it is.
Well, you have a point. Better safe than.
Yeah, that's right. I almost sold Buendia and Ivan Toney last week, and the last game week, and they turned up for me. Thankfully, I did not sell them.
Well, I hope you sold Buendia. You know he's not available for this game.
No, I'm going to work on my team. I haven't worked on my team yet. I wanted to get your expertise first before going to sort my team out.
That's fine. Well, let's see how this weekend goes. I think I'm really confident in my team. I have a conundrum about who I'm going to start. Sergio Reguilon away to Crystal Palace, to Norwich. But I would always fancy the home game and fixture over form. Reguilon has form, but his fixture is kind of difficult. Ben White doesn't have form, but he has a very good fixture. I really don't see Norwich scoring. I think that will be my pick. I'll pick over Sergio Reguilon. That's the only conundrum I had this week. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Akachukwu, for doing this with me, because this is going to become more of a regular stuff between both of us.
More episodes on Fantasy Premier.
All right, it's been a wonderful time on the show. Thanks to Akachukwu for being a part of the show. He spoke for way more than I even did on the show today. And, ending the show with, a wordplay. I'd like to see Ronaldo score a couple of goals this week. Otherwise, he will be served on a platter of banter. All right, it's been strictly with Akachukwu and John Pino. And yes, not to forget, Joby is my name. I'm the super dynamic midfield maestro. Don't forget to spread kindness wherever you find yourself. Bye for now.